family. Lazy here, back again, aka the Doctor of Shock, the Seeker of Truth, the Seer Says. Subject of today, if only it could just be one, but let's just take a look at the volcanic activity occurring in our regions across this planet. While some are reducing their scary circumstances, such as Mauna Loa in Hawaii, we've got Alaska and Chile booming up to, atmospheric pressure, where Buenos Aires has released itself amongst the ash fall and plume that will occur. So regions of the world becoming affected beyond our desires. We've had a number of volcanic eruptions occurring throughout Indonesia, escalating. Papua New Guinea, code reds and oranges becoming more regular. Lake Taupo in New Zealand having further earthquakes up to 5.5 occurring, creating tsunamis up to 2-meter waves across the lake. I wonder how that affects the regions. And why aren't we hearing about it? Maybe it's not really happening. Maybe the experts are waiting to tell you when it's a little bit too late to respond. But it is a factor that has been occurring on a increasing scale over the last decade that I've been witnessing firsthand, feeling a little bit concerned about it and alerting me to circumstances that it entails. The grand solar minimum principles of the world, based on our solar capacity for survival, has been intriguing in relation to it, looking at the wind speeds increasing, the volatility of hectopascals and low and high pressure systems across the regions becoming more intricate, more volatile and unprecedented, as described by bureaus of meteorology globally. The coldest record in December was broken here in Australia just obviously a few days ago, and record snowfalls and winds, blizzards have been accounting for much of the northern hemisphere, parts of North America and Europe. What does it all mean? Well, unprecedented terms of conditions might be a factor that we engage in over the next period of time. And as we look at what is occurring astrologically, it doesn't surprise me that there is a new age coming. Many have been talking about the age of Aquarius for decades now, writing songs about it, naming albums after it, and of course not truly understanding the outcome of it. Meanwhile, this big kid at a playground is here to tell you that it could well align with certain transits, the binary solar system that we exist in. However, where's the second star? And obviously circumstances that become less projected as terms of value, while what is false is widely accepted, like shares, crypto, house prices. Meanwhile, the availability of fertilizers for growing food and wonderful things like precious metals have been, omitted from the audiences. So, in this process of experiencing the world as it is, there are moments of us recognizing the differences that occur while we are being pinballed through the explanations that are delivered too late. And that is where I have always placed myself, in between the inauthenticity of media and the experts at large. While I don't claim to be an expert, I find that very few have more experience. And so ultimately, maybe it's ego, maybe it's ego-less, maybe I'm finally honouring what is and has been an ego for so long, to become the OG of it. We flip it all. We flip the reality of the truth that is spoken, because truth very rarely is fact. It is purely a place of perception from a visual response, usually one that has had very little concern for the subjects that are spoken. Which is why I find it rather interesting and obviously sad that so many people get caught off guard on subjects that they never took an inkling to in the first place, but wanted to believe. Like those that decided to purchase properties whilst believing from central banks that interest rates would remain at low interest rate levels until a certain year, a few years in advance. Not that that really makes a lot of difference when you're talking about a 20 to 30 or 40 or 50 year mortgage. 1 or 2 years seems to be quite nominal. But what I have in my mind is, astrologically speaking, some rather intriguing circumstances. For instance, did you know that Saturn is about to come into the zodiac of Pisces for about the next 2.5 to 3 years? And the last times that Saturn has entered into Pisces, we have gone through recessions, global depressions, and national depressions since the late 1800s that I've been able to track back. Now, along the lines of speaking into back in early 2019, the consequences of Saturn and Pluto conjunct in Capricorn on the 12th of January 2020, that a level of imprisonment was going to occur, encroaching across the entire planet, very similar to its previous conjunction in Scorpio, in which was 9/11. So whether we think that the Cerveza sickness and World Trade Center concerns and where's the fallacy begin and end? It's not for me to tell you, but maybe help open the eyes in relation to what could be not woke, but awake in the realm of experiencing life as we see it, not as we are told. For what we are told is usually a distraction, like television. Tell you the vision, if we're dealing with Latin. And we should, for the root of language is where the spelling and the spell that we've been cast under began. So for following some madman in a hat at a playground barefoot, to witnessing the scripted fallacies that occur in, designed media outlets and influences the like, perhaps there's another way of seeing the world. We should always see the breadth of what is experienced beyond our lives. That's why old-timers have probably a lot more knowledge to share than we experience. Take your time.